Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about 2019 product regrets, and this is part of my year-end series that I've been doing. I already have two videos in the series, one where I talked about brands that I'm most and least excited about in 2019, and then also one where I talked about my favorite and least favorite collections of 2019. So today is going to be product regrets, and I kind of feel bad that the last couple of videos have had some negative things in it, but at the same time, it is important for you guys to hear the negative as well as the positive. I don't do negative videos that often just because I prefer to talk about things that I'm excited about, but I still think it's important for you guys to hear what didn't work for me versus what did work, just in case, you know, it might save you guys some money down the line if you have a similar skin type or preferences as I do. But after this video, it's going to be all favorites until the end of the year, so those will all be a little bit more positive. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into my product regrets for this year. Alright, so let's start out with palettes. There's quite a few of them that I regret buying this year, and the first one would be these little mini BH Cosmetics Zodiac palettes. Not because the formula is bad or they're bad palettes, but because I didn't collect them all. And I'm so mad at myself for even trying to do that in the first place because, you know, I want to try to get more this year, especially into just buying things that I really like and enjoy. And I just thought it would be fun when the first one came out to just collect them. And I really want to stop collecting makeup just to collect it, you know. But what happened was I bought the first like 4 or 5 and then I missed one in the summertime. I think I was on vacation. I wasn't really checking like social media, my Instagram, and it launched and then it was gone and they didn't ever bring them back, which I was really bummed about. Once they were sold out, they were sold out. I kind of felt like maybe they should have kept them for the year so that if people did want to collect them, they could. So I have like 5 of these palettes now. I hardly ever use them. I really was just planning to do kind of a video on them at the end of the year and go through all of them, but I can't do that now because once I missed one, I figured what's the point, and I just stopped buying. So anyway, that was really stupid, so I definitely regret those. And then more palettes that I regret buying are these Kylie Cosmetics palettes. I bought these specifically so that I could do a video on these versus the C-Color Cosmetics Kylie dupes. Now, the C-Color ones ended up being so good, just as good as these, in fact, that I don't even use these, and they're so expensive for what they are. I don't feel like Kylie's formula is so great that it warrants the price tag on these. I think you could get ColourPop for a lot less. I believe they're made in the same factory. Not saying it's the same exact formula, she probably has her own, but I just don't feel like these are worth the money, especially when you have the C-Color dupes. But anyway, if you'd like to see the video on that, I'm gonna link it in a playlist, just like I did with the previous video. Everything that I talk about today, if I did a video on it, it'll be in a playlist, and I'll link that down in the description box, and also I'll put it at the end of the video in case you want to check those out. And then another palette I totally regret buying is this Lime Crime Venus Immortalis palette. When I first saw it, I loved the color story so much. However, the formula is horrible. At least a lot of the shades, it's horrible. So the black shade, very, very patchy. This white one right here and this one had hard pan immediately. Like, they just do not pick up. I don't know if you can see that they're kind of completely glazed over in the pan, so they don't pick up at all. The shimmer shades were okay, but I felt like the other mattes were just so patchy and weird, and they just didn't apply right. So as excited as I was over this cool toned color story, I hated the formula of this so much. It was awful. Another palette I regret buying is this BH Cosmetics Santa Fe palette. I really loved the color story in here. I thought it was a pretty palette, but the first time I used it, I ended up getting a reaction to one of the shades that I used, and I was surprised because I don't think I've ever had a reaction to an eyeshadow in my life. But then I ended up looking at the back, and it says that 2 of the shadows are Pressed Pigment, Chili and Ristra, and they're not intended for use around the eye area, and to please discontinue use if there's any irritation. And I know usually you see that with glitter shadows, and there's no glitter in here, but it's just the color that they used. I think they're red shades, so whatever they used in the red shades are not meant to be used on the eye area according to the FDA. And yeah, they gave me a reaction, so I stopped using this palette, and I should probably just declutter it at this point. Another palette I was definitely disappointed in this year is the Makeup Revolution Nude Neutral. This is from their Pro line, and when I first saw this, it reminded me of the Huda Beauty New Nudes, but then when I compared the two side by side, this one actually has some different shades in it. So it's not an exact dupe like the Alter Ego one is, for example. That one is spot on. I just felt like the formula on this one was not good, and I was expecting a lot more out of a Pro palette. I just felt like they were very sheer. Some of them were hard to pick up. They didn't blend really nicely on the eyes. I do really love some of Makeup Revolution's formulas, like the Forever Flawless palettes, the Reloaded palettes, even the chocolate bar ones are pretty good. But I'm always talking about how Makeup Revolution can be hit or miss, and this one was definitely a miss. Another palette I bought but really didn't get much use out of was the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. I remember really enjoying the original one way back when, but I just really wasn't crazy about the formula of this one. Even though the colors are pretty, I found some of the shades to be a little bit difficult to work with. And I've definitely realized now over the years that I prefer Too Faced's formula that's in their tin packaging a lot more than this. This one to me felt like some of their holiday collections that aren't that great as far as formula goes. So this one, I just really haven't picked it up since I purchased it, unfortunately. Another palette I definitely regret buying is the Norvina Volume 1 palette. I did touch on this a little bit in my last video when I talked about my least and most favorite collections. This Norvina collection just, it doesn't speak to me, and I just felt like the formula was not my cup of tea. I know some people really love them, and even just the color story in here, it's just a little too bright and bold. I don't know why I purchased this. I think just because I felt like I'd probably review it on my channel. I don't even know if I did. I think I did like a comparison video of all the palettes that are similar to this in color, but I don't think I did a full-on review. I just didn't like the formula. I think it's supposed to be more like an artistry palette. They are very pigmented shadows, but I found them to be difficult to work with, a little bit patchy and hard to blend on the eyes. So I prefer Anastasia's regular formula to this one, hands down, and that's why I didn't buy any more from this collection. And then the next one I regret buying is the ColourPop Villains Misunderstood palette. This really was not a formula thing because I thought the formula was fine. It was just the color story. There's way too many shimmer shades in here and not enough mattes, I felt like. There was really only one matte transition shade for my skin tone, and that was this one right here. Plus I just felt like all these colors felt kind of disjointed. And when I looked at the palette, I just felt like it was hard to think of color combinations and things to put together. So I really just did not use this palette at all, and I'm kind of sorry I bought it. And then the last palettes I regret buying are these Essence palettes. We have Yes I Can and I Flirt. These looked so beautiful in Ulta, so I couldn't resist picking them up. And sometimes Essence's formula is really good, so I mean, just looking at it, it looks really, really pretty, and I was hoping for like a hidden gem type of situation, but unfortunately they really didn't apply very nicely. I had trouble getting them to work and to stay on my eyes. I actually did do a video where I tried one of these out, so I'll link it down below in the playlist, but yeah, I really didn't pick these up again after that initial video, so that's definitely another product regret. Alright, so then moving away from palettes, I just have a few more things. I felt like palettes were the biggest category because that's what I buy the most of. And when it comes to skincare products, most of the skincare I buy these days is a repeat purchase. That's something that I've already tried and just found works for me. So I don't try a whole lot of new skincare lately, but this was something that I saw and wanted to try because it's a really affordable cleansing oil. It's the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Double Cleansing Oil. As you can see, it's almost full. I used this exactly twice and regretted it both times. This is the greasiest cleansing oil I have ever used in my entire life. It didn't take off makeup, and it left a really thick film on my face that I think I had to wash with like a foaming cleanser twice just to get off. It felt like I spread Vaseline all over my face, and it just kind of locked down and wouldn't come off, and that greasy feeling was so difficult to remove. So it was really unfortunate because I was hoping to find a really affordable cleansing oil, but I will never buy this again. Actually, after this video, it's going in the garbage. And then when it comes to hair products, I have one regret. It's actually not a product, it's a tool. The tool that I regret buying is this Revlon one-step hair dryer thingy that everybody is raving about. I don't know why necessarily. Well, I kind of do. I felt like my hair looked good when I used this, but it is such a pain in the neck to use, especially if you have long hair. I don't know. I don't get it. I felt like my hair looked really good when I first used it. But after about an hour or so, all the volume that I got out of this just completely fell flat, and it just takes forever to dry your hair with this. And I found that I was really just like kind of rough drying my hair most of the way, and then I would put my dryer away and then plug this in and just use it to kind of curl the ends under. If you try to dry your hair just with this and you don't dry it a little bit beforehand, it takes forever. Like, it would probably take like 45 minutes to dry my hair with this because the airflow isn't super powerful and you're just sitting there brushing through your hair, and I just felt like my arm was getting tired. So my strategy is usually just to rough dry my hair. I just point the dryer down down and I just kind of use my hands and just kind of, you know, let it dry that way and just do it really, really quick with the blow dryer. And then I go in with a hot tool, either a flat iron if I'm wearing it straight, which is hardly ever, or one of my curling irons. And then I just use that and it kind of smooths everything out and makes it look good. So I just really haven't found a use for this, and I felt like it was a waste of 50 bucks. All right, so then the last several products I want to mention I don't have with me anymore because I did get rid of them since I felt like I wasn't going to be using it. I just decluttered them. So the first one is the Dr. Jart V7 Primer. When I first got this, I was super excited because I love Dr. Jart's Ceramidin cream and toner. I think they're really amazing for dry skin, so I had high hopes for this. It was supposed to like blur your pores and add moisture and do all this stuff. First of all, it smelled terrible. It had like this really strong medicinal smell, and also it did not blur pores at all. My skin looked exactly the same. In fact, it just kind of felt sticky on my skin and it didn't feel like it was really giving me a lot of moisture. So that one was definitely a big miss for me. Another thing that I didn't like was the Lancome CC cream, the new one that they came out with this year. I think I did a video on that, so it'll be in the playlist down below, but that one was so super sparkly and glittery on the skin. I didn't notice it when I first put it on in the house, but when I went outside, holy cow, it was like disco ball on my face, shiny, and it just drew attention to every pore and line in my face. So needless to say, that did not get used very much after that. And then another foundation I really wasn't too crazy about this year was the Neutrogena foundation stick that came out earlier in the year. I found it at Walmart with a whole bunch of new Neutrogena stuff. I was very excited about it, but that one just kind of looked really patchy on my skin. It broke up really easily, even though most things don't because I have dry skin, but it just like kind of just started breaking up very fast, like in my cheek area. It came off my nose. It just was one of those formulas that sat on top and like slid around throughout the day and felt like it never completely dried down. Also, the highlighter stick in that collection was the same way. It disappeared super quickly and it just felt sticky and tacky. Like if I touched my face, I could feel it there, and it just kind of like moved around too much. So I wasn't a fan of that as well. Also, the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. I believe I mentioned that in a video. I think actually all these products I'm talking about were in one video about drugstore products that didn't work out or something, so that'll be in the playlist. But anyway, that Full Wear Concealer, I know a lot of people like it, but on me, it sucked all the moisture out of my under eye area. It was like a drier version of Shape Tape. It just made my under eye area look so much like older and wrinkled and dried out. So yeah, I used that one a couple times and gave up on it. And then the last product was the CoverGirl Lash Blast Active Mascara. I really love CoverGirl's mascaras normally. The Supersizer is probably my favorite mascara ever that I've repurchased so many times. So I was excited about this one, but it just really fell flat for me. I felt like it didn't do anything for my lashes whatsoever. They hardly looked any different than they normally do. So I think maybe if you're into like a really natural looking mascara, it could be something to try. But for me, it just did nothing for my lashes at all. Alright guys, so those are the products I regret buying for 2019. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, I would love to hear your product regrets down in the description box below. Let us know why products didn't work out, and it could definitely help all of us to make better purchasing decisions. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out the playlist at the end of this video with reviews that I did on some of these products that I mentioned today, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.